Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. We are now in level 4, Misra, Jathi, Triputa, Thalam, 11-beat cycle. We are learning some basic korvais, how to adapt in this technically a little complex Thalam, I would say. Before I get into the class with korvais, I will start this class with a Thirukkural. ஒன்றாக நல்லது கொல்லாமை மற்றதன் பிஞ்சார பொய்யாமை நன்று ஆராய புகின். If you do the research, if you finally do an analysis, உயிர்களை கொல்லாதிருத்தலே ஒப்பற்றறமாகும். The topmost in the wisest list is without killing other human being stands on the top. உண்மை பேசுவது இரண்டாவது அறமாக கருதப்படும். Whatever the truth, the speaking of truth comes second in the list. That's the ranking Thiruvalur had made. Like கொல்லாமை, this is not killing any other human beings, is on the top of the list as one of the good qualities, which is appreciated by one and all. With this good thought, I'll enter into the class. We are now in the second episode of Misra, Jathi, Triputa, Thalam. As typically we used to deal with, we are going to deal with some korvais using the pattern Tit Thangadaka. This class I'll teach you a few varieties, which is again adaptation of whatever we saw in Misra, Jathi, Thalam. We will see how we can adapt the same in Misra, Jathi, Triputa, Thalam. The first one, Tit Thangadaka Dim Tha Tham is the phrase I'm going to use. The variety I'm going to shift, whatever I'm going to use is Dim Tha Tham, Dim Tha Tham, Dida Tham. So these are the three different shifts I'm going to make. The first korvai is using Dim Tha Tham. Let's see how it goes. Here, the pinmahudam, the later half goes like Tadikita Tantaga, Digi, Tadikita Tantaga, Digi, Tadikita Tum. This is a backfill I'm going to make for this korvai. Let's see how the korvai goes. Tit Tankata Takarikata Dim Ta Tham. Tatum Tankata Takarikata Dim Ta Tham. Tit Tankata Takarikata Dim Ta Tham. Tadiketa toda, tadiketa toda, tadiketa toda. Tadiketa thum is what? 8. It's a beautiful pattern of 8. Takita tadiginatum you can easily recognize because it's 3 and 5. Tadiketatum is very tricky. Tha and last dum is 1. Dikita is 2, 2, 2. So between 1 and 1 there are 2 2s, 3 2s in between. 3 into 2 is 6, 1 1 1 padding toward the front and back adds up to 8. So again, Tit Thankata Din Tha Tham. Tatum Thankata Din Tha Tham. Tit Thankata Din Tha Tham. Tadiketa Toda, Tadiketa Toda, Tadiketa Toda. That's korvai number 1. The second variety, when you reduce this korvai to Dinta Tham, Dinta Tham. So the first was Dim Tha Tham is 12, Dim Tha Tham is actually 8. Dinta Tham is 8. Dim Tha Tham is 12, Dim Tha Tham is 8, Dinta Tha is 6. Dinta is 2 and Tha is 4. So now let's look at Dintata. Dintata. Using that we will see the phrase. Dintatam. Takum Dintatam. Tit tangada tangada din ta tam ta di ki ta tum ta dingan na tum ta di ki ta di ki ta di ki ta ta. Let's look at the third variety using dindatham. The later half, when you do that, is takita dum tadikita totaga digi takita dum tadikita totaga digi takita dum tadikita dum. We will see how it happens. Tit tangada dindata takum tangada dindata tit tangada dindata takita dum tadikita tonda di takita dum tadikita tonda di takita dum tadikita tonda. Tit tangada dindata tit tangada dindata tit tangada dindata takita dum tadikita tonda di takita dum tadikita tonda di takita dum tadikita tonda. Those are the three varieties of the variations of dim tattaha, didhattaha. So the later half changes. Now let's look at the korvai 2 with a variety. Tangada tadi ketatan tangada tadi ketatan tadi ketatan ta di kita tum ta dingan nat tum ta diketa ta. It's another variety using a different format with the interlude of tadiketatum between tithangada. Constantly we are trying to create a scope of thaha tadiketatum, tham tadiketatum. So 4 to 0. You have to learn the concepts alone here. Those are the important things, takeaways for this class. That is the variety for the first one. Now, if you reduce the korvai from the second half, the later half, we will see what happens. Takita dum tadikita totaga digi takita dum tadikita totaga digi takita dum tadikita dum is the backfill. Let's see how it happens. Tangada dam tadikita ton tangada dam tadikita ton tadikita dam tadikita ton tadikita ton da di takita dum tadikita ton da di takita dum tadikita ton tha. That is the second korvai using tham tadi kitato. Now let's look at the third pattern. Without tha verum only tadi kitato, using that, let's see how it happens. The last half takita dum takita dum takatadi kitato da digi takita dum takatadi kitato da digi takita dum takatadi kitato da. I made the shift. Instead of tadi kitato, I made the fill of takatadiketatum. Let's see how it happens. Let's look at it very interestingly. This has come because takitatum takatadiketatum. Takitatum is 5, takatadiketatum is 7. 5 plus 7 is 12. It's beautiful phrase. We can use this concept for some other placements. takita dum, takata dikita to, takita dum, takata dikita to, takita dum, takata dikita, takita dum, takata dikita, takita dum, takata dikita, takita dum, takata dikita, dim, takita 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 dikita dum, takata dikita dim, takita dim, takita dikita dum, takata dikita, takita dum, takata dikita dim, takita dim, takita dikita dum, takata dikita, takita dum, takata dikita dim, takita dim, takita dim, takita dikita dum, takata dikita, takita dum, takata dikita, takita dum, takata dikita dim, takita dim, takita dim, takita dikita dum, takita dum, takita dum, takata dikita, takata dikita, takata dikita dim, takita dim. You can use the live vinyasa using just this phrase and communicate with the audience. So when you're making all these sequences, there are some few ideas which comes out and which you can use it for some other purpose. So these research and analysis are very helpful. When you get some patterns, we can quickly think and relate and see how you can use it for Tisra Nadai, Ganda Nadai, Misra Nadai, Sangeeta Nadai, or use it for higher version of the phrase, higher speed. All these can come to you. So the korvai for the third half. That's korvai number 2 with the 3 variations. I'll also teach you another korvai which is very simple in nature, the korvai 3, which is tit. You will see the third one. I am removing now tadikitatum interlude also. I am taking, I am only using this tha, tha and 0. Let's see how it happens. The pinmoktam goes like this. Tadikitatum, 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 tadikitatum. Because we are removing, as we remove the phrases in the first part, obviously the later you will have a lot of lacuna towards the end. When you have the lacuna, you have to fill it with a proper phrase. The phrases may be a little longer, but you need to structure it beautifully, and that's the beauty of it. So here, here the variety, most importantly, if you subtly note, tadikitatum gets repeated number of times. You should not play the same phrase again and again, it will be boring. So when you are playing this korvai, tadikitatum is frequently coming. So you can't play tadikitata again and again, same thing. You should repeat it with variety. All these patterns you can fill it as it suits you. Okay? Like that you can play. The second variety for this korvai is, as you reduce this from taha to tham, taga digi kigi taga dogum, ta di ki ta dum, ta dingin nathum, tadikita tantha, tadikita tantha, tadikita tantha. We will use this backfill and see how this korvai comes. Tit tankata 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 ta di ki ta thum ta di ki ta thum ta dingin nathum tadikita tantha tadikita tantha tadikita tantha. Now the last variety in this is without any karvai. When you are using this phrase, the pinmahadam, the second half becomes taha di ki taga dohum, ta di ki ta dohu, tadingannatum, tadikita tadum, tadikita tadum, tadikita tantha, tadikitatum plus 5, tadikitatum plus 5, tadikitatum is the backfill. So let's see how it comes. Di, ki, ta, tum, ta, di, ki, ta, tum, ta, ding, na, tum, ta, di, ta, tum, ta, di, ta, tum, ta, di, ta, ta. This korvai is five. Five korvai, five korvai, and then five. These are the three varieties for using this format. So what all we saw in this episodes? The first korvai is dim, tha, tham. That's a concept. Dim, tha, tham, din, tha, tham. Using that variety, we saw the korvai. The second variety is tit, thang, thaga, tadi, kitatum. Using that, we formed a korvai. Tit, thang, tham, tadi, kitatum, korvai. Tit, thang, tadi, kitatum, korvai. We saw that. Now we also removed the dikitato. Tit thangata thaga, tangata thaga, tagatari thaga. Tit thangata tham, tangata tham, tagatari tham. Tit thangata. There is a progressive reduction, the progressive extension towards the end. These were the varieties we saw. And there were unique patterns in this. Takita dhum tadikita tantha is one variety. Takita dhum takata dikita tantaga di. Takita dhum takata dikita tantaga di. Takita dhum takata dikita. When you're talking about takita dhum tadikita dhum is 10. Takita dhum takata dikita dhum is 12. And you can also try to format and in the same line and another phrase. Takita dhum takadhimita dikita dhum. What will happen? Takitatum takadimitatikatum is a 14 syllable phrase. When you are making a 14 syllable phrase, it fits into Misra Chaptala. You can use it as Misra Nadai. Tattadim, 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 takatatum, takadimitatikatum, tattadim, tattadim, takatatum, takadimitatikatum, 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 tattadim, 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 tikkadagada. All those ideas you will get to formulate. I'm just giving you hints of how to develop once when you get a phrase, how you can adapt it and build castles. Different architecture, Laya architectures. With this, I'm signing off this class. I'll see you in the next class with more korvai in Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam. I'm signing off with the Tirukkural. Nallaru enappaduvadu yadu enin, yadu ondrum kollamai soozhum neri. What is the meaning of it? Nallozhukam enappaduvadu yadenin, endha or uyariyum kollada attralai pottrum neriyagum. What is deemed as a good discipline is, if you are not killing any other human beings, is deemed as the best discipline, and that's what Thiruvallur mentions in this Tirukkural. With this, I'm concluding this class. I'll see you in the next class with more korvai in Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam. Until then, Poonur RVA signing off. Episode 2 Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam Korvai 1 Mathematical Understanding Total count of 88 aksharas. Interpretation of korvai goes like this. Tit tankadatakadarigadakadim tha tham. Tit tankadatakadarigadakadim tha tham. Tit tankadatakadarigadakadim tha tham. Tadiketa tuntha. Tadiketa tuntha. Tadiketa tuntha. Episode 2 Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam Korvai 2 Mathematical Understanding Total count of 88 aksharas. Interpretation of korvai goes like this. Tit tankadatakadarigadakadam tadi ketatan tankadatakadarigadakadam tadi ketatan takadarigadakadam tadi ketatan ta di kita tum tadi ketatum tadi ketatan tadi ketatan tadi ketatan ta. Episode 2 Misra Jathi Triputa Thalam Korvai 3 Mathematical Understanding Total count of 88 aksharas. Interpretation of korvai goes like this. Tit tankadatakadarigadakadam tankadatakadarigadakadam takadarigadakadam Tadik ketaton, 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 tadik ketaton,